Hello tankers, pilots, and sailors. Back again with me, William Akazuka. In this video, I will explain the guide using the Soviet aircraft that currently carries the most missiles in war thunder, the Sukhoi 27. This aircraft is a heavy fighter from the Soviet Union, which is the first flanker variant in war thunder. This aircraft is dimensionally very large, even larger than the F-15. But in terms of maneuverability, this aircraft is very easy to maneuver extreme. So let's talk more about it in this video. After the Vietnam War, the United States and the Soviet Union sought to develop a new generation of fighters that prioritized maneuverability and air combat performance at supersonic speeds. The Soviet Union then adopted the heavy support doctrine with their new generation of fighters, which combined a small number of heavy fighters with a large number of smaller and cheaper aircraft to support the heavy fighters. The design of the heavy fighter was handed over to OKB Sukhoi, who produced the T-10 prototype of the Sukhoi 27. The Su-27 was introduced in 1977 and entered service in 1985, becoming the top-of-the-line heavy fighter for the Soviet Union. The Sukhoi 27 is an aircraft that has everything in air-to-air combat, as it carries a large number of missiles and carries a wide variety of lethal missiles. It has great avionics and sensors, and agile flight performance. It can carry up to 10 air-to-air missiles, including 6 infrared missiles with HMD targeting, namely R-73, R-27T, R-27ET. And with 4 radar-guided missiles R-27 or R-27ER paired with MEC's powerful N001 radar, but not as good as the MiG-29 SMT radar for me. The flanker's choice of deadly missile variations allows it to destroy enemies with ease. And its unstable fuselage and fly-by-wire control system allows it to perform high-angle attack maneuvers and partial post-stall maneuvers at lower speeds. Unfortunately, the fuselage is unstable, which I find a bit annoying because it is more difficult to control the shots when maneuvering, especially since there are many complaints that the flight model of this aircraft is still not good or lifelike. Overall, the Su-27 should be played as a fighter that can be used in dogfights and BVR. Moreover, it is best suited to be played as a very aggressive fighter due to its deadly missiles, fairly good avionics and sensors, and agile flight performance. However, you should be aware of the various enemies you can encounter when using the flanker, such as all aircraft carrying IRCCM missiles, as the flanker's heat signature is very hot from the result of its 2 massive AL-31 engines, but also be wary of the F-15 fighter, as the F-15's superior TWR and good high-speed handling as a result of its stable fuselage will give the F-15 pilots an advantage in some scenarios. The Su-27 has a similar armament to the MiG-29 SMT, with the highly meta R-73 missile for close combat and various types of R-27 missiles for medium and long-range combat. The R-27ER and R-27ET missiles are the long-range missiles of the most capable members of the R-27 family and are mandatory after research. For ground attack, the Su-27 is limited to conventional bombs and rockets, unlike the MiG-29 SMT, which has guided bombs and anti-ground missiles. However, the Su-27 can carry up to 4 S-25O rockets, which is enough to destroy tanks or ground targets, although it is still recommended to use this aircraft as its proper role of air superiority. For loadout presets and research suggestions that take precedence, here are some suggestions ranging from stock to full spade. This aircraft carries 2 R-73 missiles when stock. These missiles are very helpful for getting kills when the aircraft is still stock. When the stock situation is as usual, always play at low altitude. Don't play at high altitude because you only have 2 short-range IR missiles. When the Su-27 is compared to the F-15 when it is in stock, in which context is the most torturous? Then my answer: the 2 aircraft have their own advantages and disadvantages. If the F-15, only equipped with AIM-9L, although all-aspect missile but does not have IRCCM, while the Su-27 has the R-73, which is very maneuverable and has IRCCM, arguably an aircraft that is helped by its missile. But in terms of flight performance, the F-15 is still better than the Su-27 because of the better flight model in the F-15. Carrying the Su-27 feels unstable, especially when flying straight. Even in stock conditions, to maneuver is rather difficult, although not as stiff as the F-15. Feeling carrying a Su-27 aircraft is like controlling a wild horse, while the F-15 is a horse that has been trained. So just match your respective playstyle, because the 2 aircraft really have different characteristics. Just like the MiG-23 MLD that I reviewed back then, the Su-27 is also an aircraft that focuses on aerial combat. But the Su-27 can still carry conventional ground attack loadouts, including napalm bombs, without sacrificing the R-73 count when it is still in the first column. So in the first column, it is expected to research napalm bombs first to destroy the enemy base and get RP and SL quickly. And also the napalm bombs carried by Su-27 can be up to 8 napalm, so just fulfill it first to bring 8 bombs so that you can destroy 2 enemy bases at once, each per base 4 napalm bombs. So when you have Researcher 73, then you can reduce the number of napalm bombs to just 4 napalm. For the first column, presets can be like this. For the second column, you can research our 27T first, then other components. You can use our 27, but remember, our 27T is different from our 27ET. The speed is slow like Sparrow, but this missile has IRCCM, so it is quite immune to flares unlike our 24T. But for me, it's a better option to carry the IR-73 instead of the IR-27T because it's quite helpful during a dogfight using the IR-73. For column 2, it can be like this. As for the third column, you are advised to focus on researching the IR-27R. The point is to research the ET variant as soon as possible because the missile really helps Su-27 in top-tier battles. When you research the IR-27R, you can exchange your napalm bombs with the IR-27R. Moreover, you can carry 6 IR-27R. But remember, the IR-27R is like a Sparrow missile but slower. Even back then when the IR-27R was first released in War Thunder, its presence was immediately overshadowed by the AEM-7F and AEM-7M, and forced War Thunder to release the IR-27ER as soon as possible because of player complaints about the terrible IR-27R. Although for me it's not a bad missile but not good either, it's just slow, and not as slow as the Matra Super 530D. You have to wait for targets in the range of under 10 kilometers before you can get a guaranteed kill at that distance. You can also just not bring the IR-27R, keep focusing on bombing the base if you feel the IR-27R is still not good enough. So for column 3, it can be like this. In column 4, of course you have to research our 27ET first. Just use the missile because the missile speed is very fast and the range is quite far. But keep in mind, the IR-27ET is a heat-seeking missile. The farther away you launch the missile, the easier it is to dodge using flares by the enemy. Unless the enemy you are targeting doesn't notice the missile you are launching, then you will definitely get a kill because the missile is very fast. Especially if you launch a heat-seeking missile, the enemy will not notice through its RWR because it is not a radar missile that does not need to lock using radar. It is recommended to launch around the distance of 8 kilometers down. When you have talked about the IR-27ET, then next when you have researched the IR-27ER, you must use the missile with the support of the Su-27 pulse Doppler radar. The missile is completely immune to enemy countermeasures, especially when it shoots quickly and has a long range. So if you have researched the IR-27ER, you can use the Su-27 for BVR battles. Although for me, the Su-27's radar is not as good as the MiG-29 SMTs because it often locks on to enemy chaff rather than the target. When you have finished researching all the missiles, stick to my previous advice. To research aircraft components that have not been researched to maximize the performance of the aircraft such as engines and others. For this aircraft, it is not recommended for me to bring it to the mixed battle as close air support because it only carries rockets and conventional bombs. It is better to bring MiG-29 SMT, Su-25T, Su-17M4, or MiG-27K which can carry anti-ground missile or guide bombs. So for the fourth column, it could be like this. That's my guide, so at the end of this guide, I will show a gameplay when I use Su-27. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Our victory is here.